PSG have just won the Champions League, and I have plenty of questions. I want to open the debate right away because this is one of the best performances I've seen of a team in the history of the competition. I think that now the debate is opening. Is Luis Enrique better than Guardiola? Is this team better than Barcelona 2009-2011? Barcelona fans, get ready because you're going to be getting all these questions thrown at your face. We're going to be discussing this and the match and much more in today's video. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here, and yes, indeed, Paris Saint-Germain or PSG have just beaten Inter 5-0 in the Champions League final in the Allianz Arena. What a final! Unexpected result. Crazy scenes in an unprecedented event because this has never happened before. The biggest lopside, the biggest margin ever in the history of the competition in the final. 5-0 PSG demolished. And you know who's the mastermind behind it all? Is this guy right here. I'm just joking. It's not Dembele. It's Luis Enrique. I just wanted to joke. It's Luis Enrique. And I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy for Luis Enrique. I'm actually happy for Sana. I'm actually happy for maybe Dembele as well. Yeah, I must admit, I am happy for Dembele. People are going to be calling me traitor. But I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him because even though we hate him, he still does respect Barcelona and whatnot. And I mean, he has found the club in France, and so be it. You know, he have given PSG a historic moment, and he's gonna go be a legend in their club now, in their books now. So good on him. I just don't want to keep talking because I know I'm gonna get murdered in the comments down below, but I'm okay with that. You know, I'm fine with it. So be it. So be it. Dembele wins the Champions League. So be it, Dembele wins the Ballon d'Or. So be it. This team is very, very special in the sense because I cannot really pinpoint the best player. Of course, you could say that Dembele is the best player that they have. You could certainly say that. You could say Vitinha, maybe Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, or you can even go and say the youngster, you know, Désiré, Doué. Take a bow, son. Take a bow. 2 goals, 1 assist, and the youngest ever goal contributor twice in a final in the Champions League. Like, no one has ever scored a brace and then gone to have an assist as well. We're talking about insane numbers. This is a historic performance. This is something that in 10 years' time, we might not even see again. It's one of those that never repeats itself. It's history in the making. So you have to praise it for what it is. And this is sort of the stature that I want to give to this game. You know, it's certainly what happened today. And I've always said this, guys. I am a Barcelona fan to the blood, to the, like, even my lights you can see are the color of the Blaugrana, you know? Everything that I do is for Barcelona. It's because I love this club. But I love football, I think, a tiny bit more. I think I love the sport a bit more. If I wasn't a Barcelona fan, I would still watch football. I was not a Messi fan. I'm a Barcelona fan. And maybe I'm a football fan overall. Who knows? This game really made me believe that because while I was watching the game, while Inter were completely rattled in the second half, and Dembele was running, Kvaratskhelia was running into space, Barcola was running into space, Doué, Vitinha, be it whoever was running into space for PSG, because basically everyone had an opportunity today to score. I was saying, you know what? Go score. I was literally saying, I was joking, of course, but I was like, is this the Ballon d'Or moment for Dembele? Because I was just thinking, if Dembele gets a goal, that's like the debate over. I think literally the only reason why we might be hanging on a thread for Dembele not to win the Ballon d'Or is that he didn't score in this game. Like, if he would have scored and you say, okay, he scored, he got 2 assists, yeah, Ballon d'Or makes perfect sense. But just because he didn't score, I think you can still sort of make some sort of debate for Lamine Yamal or Rafinha, but it's going to be very difficult. We're going to have to debate that in another video. Talking about other videos, I have a playlist down below where you can go and check out all videos as we gear up for the next season. So as we gear up for the next season, go there, check the videos. I'm pretty sure you have not watched some of them because they got pretty low views. And talking about low views, I asked YouTube, why is this happening? And they told me literally personally, you suck. Your community suck, dudes, because they do not turn on the notification icon. They don't. They literally use those words. It's very, very bad, they said. So we need to improve on that. Turn on the bell notification icon so you know when my videos are coming up, guys. Please. It helps me quite a lot. Quite a lot. Anyhow, back into this. Yeah, I think the final, definitely the first half, I think PSG were the dominant side. I think we saw this again with PSG in Arsenal in both legs. I think they start strong. They do what they always do. They start the game and they kick off. They throw the ball for a throw-in to get their pressure on site. On site. And I think that after that, they really suffocated Inter. I think Inter fell into their own trap because Inter here were saying, you know what, we can handle this. I think Inter felt a little bit soberbio. In Spanish, you say that. They were a little bit, with their chest lifted. They were puffed up. They were, what's a word in English? The opposite of humble. I don't know what the word is at the moment. They were just feeling so confident that they could handle this situation. And I think that they fell into their own trap because they couldn't control PSG. The thing about PSG is what Luis Enrique has made. And that's why I pinpoint all the victory to him. More than a victory of a winning team for PSG, I think that this is Luis Enrique winning the Champions League. I think this demonstrates how good or how big, impactful of a manager he actually is. I think people need to start to realize that. That's why I opened the debate at the start of the video, because I think we're looking at a great here. We're generally looking at maybe top 10 managers in the history of the sport with Luis Enrique, because I'm looking at him and thinking, what he did today to Inter de Milan with those interchanging positions between all of the players were incredible. I mean, normally you see, the forward line rotating, either the striker to the left to the right to the left. That's simple. That happens. We've seen that plenty of times. He did that with the MSN at Barcelona. But something we have not seen, and the ability to do so seamlessly, was they interchange positions. Like, we're talking almost all of the team. The whole team were changing positions. The only ones who were not changing positions were Marquinhos and Pacho. The rest, the midfield, the forward line, and the two fullbacks, they did not care what position they played. I mean, Hakimi was playing right winger, then he was playing right back. Vitinha played as a 6, as an 8, as a 5, as a 3, as a 4, and as a 1. He played as absolutely everything in this game, Vitinha. And I think that sort of instructions that he has given to the players, and the ability for those players to not only receive those instructions, but let's say play on that and not mess it up. It's incredible. It's incredible because he has drilled this team so far. Like, I remember after the fourth goal, Luis Enrique celebrated and Vitinha went to Luis Enrique. And you could see that he was telling Luis Enrique in Spanish, muchas gracias. You could read the lips. He was saying, muchas gracias, muchas gracias, muchas gracias. He was hugging Luis Enrique, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And at the end of the day, Dembele also recognized Luis Enrique. And I think this is what Dembele needed. I think Dembele was starting to get this under Xavi, but I think that Luis Enrique, let's be honest, I think he's a level above Xavi as a coach. And he has managed to put Dembele as his main man, has taken him by the shoulder and said, you are my main man. I'm going to make you the best player in the world. You are going to be this because I see this in you. And Dembele needed that. Dembele needed someone to trust, to believe in him and make him the best he can be. And that's what Luis Enrique has done with Ousmane Dembele, with this team. He has made the fulcrum point of this team and has made Dembele reach heights that he never even thought he could reach. So kudos on Luis Enrique. And like I said, those interchanging positions that they were constantly happening. Désiré, Doué, dropping deep, going to the left, acting as a different player in the midfield. Then you have João Neves as a right winger. Like, it was constant madness. That's how it happened, the very first goal for PSG. It was a through ball from Vitinha that was playing as a pivot, ended up as a left interior in the midfield. He passed the ball onto Doué, who was, bear in mind, he was a right winger. He was as a left winger in this situation, and then he crossed the ball to Hakimi, who was playing as a right winger. So all of these players interchange positions like that so constantly, so rapidly as well, and it fell into Hakimi, and then Hakimi just had basically an open net. It was complete demolition, and it's not like Inter defended badly. It's just, it's so difficult to defend against that if you have never done it against, like, if you have never, I don't know, you have never faced a team of that quality before. And I think that Inter got caught out, like, so much because of this. Like, Di Marco had one of the worst games I've seen in a while. I mean, he played better than what he played against Lamine Yamal, but still, he didn't know what to do. Like, because before against Lamine Yamal, for instance, it's easier for him. Even though Lamine Yamal may be a better player than Désiré Doué, for instance, Di Marco knows, okay, I need to mark Lamine Yamal, and I'm gonna get the help of Mkhitaryan. Okay, fine. I know it's fine. You know, I can do that. Okay, that's what I need to do. Okay, I'll do that. But this game is like, okay, I need to mark Désiré Doué. Okay, I'm marking him. Okay, but now he's over there. Should I go over there, or should I stay here because Hakimi is trying to overlap me? Well, Hakimi now has gone as an inside forward. He's playing as a striker. Should I go and mark Vitinha? Because Vitinha is now playing as a right winger, or should I mark Joao Neves, who is now gonna be running in deep? What should I do, Inzaghi? What should I do? And I think that it was just too much, bro. I just think it was too much. I think we saw a team that is a level cut above, and this is why I mean football at its peak. I think a team that is robust, very hard, difficult to break down, a defensive team, it's always gonna be good. In football, you were always gonna go far with a team like that. But let's be honest, when we're talking about a side like PSG, like Inter, for instance, with Inzaghi, like if you're like, that will always cut up to you. It will always catch up to you, because there's a very good quote. I do not know who said it, but I love it. I think it's Thierry Henry was talking about Guardiola once, that the ball travels faster than you, and that is something that's like the key in football. The ball will always travel faster than a man can run. So if you're able to dominate the ball, you dominate the game. And that's what happened with PSG at the start. I think that Inter were a little bit too hung up on the idea that they could defend this and maybe act on the counter, and they didn't. I think it was completely out of their mind. Like, it was too much. They were too crazy to think that they could defend. They needed to play the game, because letting PSG just play the game was way too easy for them, and they conceded very early on. I mean, they conceded, let's take a look. They conceded in the 12th minute, and then they conceded in the 20th minute, and then in the 63rd, blah, blah, blah. They conceded like that, you know. We have the momentum chart. Look how much of the game first started with PSG. Basically, it was all PSG. There was a few moments in the second half, at the end of the second half for Inter, and then more of Inter in the second half, but still, like, PSG was just controlling the first half. And likewise, another thing that I need to mention about this is that I think that for Inter, you could just see that this team was lacking energy. Like, I think another part that cost them a lot is that they didn't know how to manage the three competitions at the end of the day. You know, the Coppa Italia, how to manage the Champions League, how to manage Serie A, because they lost out in all three. I think the game against Barcelona was a huge blow to them physically and mentally. I think it took a massive toll on them. They didn't look the same after that one bit. I think that was their final. Not that they were thinking that winning against Barcelona was their final, but I think that, you know, like, they just played they just played so much football, like, in that game, the two legs. That was so much football, peak football, that it's gonna drain you out so much. Do you think that Barcelona, guys, I ask you in the comments down below, let me know, do you think that Barcelona would have been able to beat this PSG? Do you think that Barcelona would have been able to compete against them? I certainly think so. I think it would have been a much closer game, like a 4-3, 3-3. I think it would have been something like that, actually. It would have been crazy. It would have been punch for punch. And yeah, but I'm very interested to see, because I think that Inter at the end of the day got caught out, because they don't play on the front foot, and that completely fell into the hands of PSG. I expected Inter to be much better defensively than they were, but mainly I thought Inter would take advantage of the set pieces a lot more. And I think they would be a little bit more robust, a little more tough to beat when certainly recovering the ball. I think they would be better recovering the ball. They couldn't recover the ball. They did not pressure at all one bit. They just sat back, and I think that was such a weak mentality, and they should have known better. They should have known better to go forward and try to accommodate, or basically to accommodate PSG. I think they should have tried that. I guess you could say also that against Barcelona, Inter de Milan, the one thing that fell into their trap is that they scored first. I mean, here they got scored on. They didn't even score a single goal. But against Barcelona, you know, having the idea that you're already up in the score line, you already scored one, scored two. They scored first against Barcelona, and that made Barcelona seek the game a lot more. Here, PSG could just do basically whatever because they scored first, and that helped Inter quite a lot in the Barcelona games that they scored first. So they should have looked for that first goal. I think that was quite obvious, and to not see Inzaghi pursue the first goal was quite surprising. I think that he underestimated I think he overestimated, let's say that's a word, he overestimated the resilience of his Inter team. Inter didn't do Inter didn't do a single thing throughout the game, like at all. They didn't do a single thing. Anyhow, guys, this is how the two teams line up. There was so much talk, and I cannot believe we're just getting into this. PSG went with Gianluigi Donnarumma, Achraf Hakimi, Marquinhos, William Pacho, Nuno Mendes, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha, Joao Neves, Désiré, Doué, Ousmane, Dembele, and Vichka Kvaratskhelia. Yeah. This team is crazy. It's crazy good that Luis Enrique has been able to make Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, and Doué played as good or better than Messi, Suarez, and Neymar in that final. I mean, insane from PSG. Inter also went with their strongest 11. They went with Jan Sommer, Benjamin Pavard, Francesco Acerbi, Alessandro Bastoni, Federico Di Marco, Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, Nicolo Varela, Denzel Dumfries, Marcos Thuram, and Lautaro Martinez. Lautaro Martinez, who unfortunately didn't do a single thing. I mean, he couldn't do a single thing. I don't know how many shots Inter had on target, but they didn't do a single thing. It was ridiculous how bad Inter were. They were really awful. One of the worst performances displays I've seen in a final in quite a long time. Like really bad. Really awful. They never competed in the game. They were not even close. Like if they could have scored maybe before going into the second half, I think the game would have been different, but PSG just completely tore them apart, tore them beat by beat. I think when we have to look at the key players here, certainly we have to be talking about Dembele. I think that Dembele leading the press, very good. That is something that Luis Enrique has given to Dembele, where he just looks a made man. He looks like this captain that knows what to do. I think Dembele was very good. Désiré Doué was a man of the match, of course, with the 1 assist, 2 goals. I was really surprised how he took the game by the scruff of the neck. You know, he saw the opportunity and he decided to take it. I like that. And I think that certainly with this, Doué cements himself as the winner of the Golden Boy. I think that performance is very difficult to go unnoticed. The same with the 2 assists of Dembele. That's superb. I think Kvaratskhelia had a very good second half. I think in the first half he was quite quiet. He missed quite a lot of chances, like 2 or 3. But at the end of the day, he got his goal and once again cement himself as another important player in this PSG side. Vitinha was the most influential player, I think, in the field. He was so good when it comes to passes. He was appearing everywhere in the team. He's so good at assists. I think he recorded 2 assists actually, but it doesn't show up here. Maybe it was just 1. And likewise, let's not detract from the importance of the goalkeeper and the center backs. I think Gianluigi Donnarumma really has stepped up his game in these latter stages. How old is he? Because he started very young. And now that he's 26 years of age, he was born in the same year as I was. And I think he's coming back into his age. 26, he's better, he's looking fresher. And once again, he was called upon when PSG needed. I think that PSG... There was one chance of Marcos Thuram in the second half when PSG were already 4-0 up, but still crazy save by Donnarumma. But let's not underestimate the stopper and the defender, basically. William Pacho, what a stopper, dude. He would pursue Lautaro Martinez to the depth of the midfield to get to him and then stop him right in his path. There's one ball that he picks from Varela that he jumps and does like a crazy kung fu kick in the air. Madness from William Pacho. Crazy good center back. And Marquinhos as well. I think Marquinhos, it's a little bit overrated, but at the end of the day, someone who's been as loyal to a club like that 10 years certainly does deserve to lift a trophy like that as captain, So give it kudos to Marquinhos. Now I kind of want to move into answering those questions that I presented at the start, because I think we've talked about everything that we need to already in this game. I think what PSG did was incredible. Like even the youngster managed to score, Mayulu. So even a youngster that nobody knows. Of course I know who he is, but like the general public will never have heard of this guy. Senny Mayulu scored, and that just demonstrates you not only how humiliating Inter was, but the projection and the vision that Luis Enrique has. You can clearly see that he was made in Barcelona. Like, that is a fact. You can clearly see that. I think it's very, very simple to see. And talking about Barcelona, like I said, I think the debate is on. Like, for me, Luis Enrique is a really good manager. Like, a really good manager. I think his Spain side against Morocco was very unfortunate not to progress in the World Cup. I think it was very, very unfortunate. I think he was a very good coach for Spain. I think it was never going to be easy because of the Barcelona background, and certainly with the Real Madrid supporters in the media of Spain, it was never going to be easy. But, I think finally he's getting his flowers. He's getting his flower because he's gone somewhere else after everything that has happened to him. He has managed to come out and win the treble again with a different club. I think that's superb. Like, I think you have to put him in the brackets of the greats now. And great for him to do that, because people are also going to say that his legacy was all down to Messi, Neymar, and Suarez, the MSN. And that's not true. You still need to make them play. Like, why then, if that's not the case, like, why didn't the team win, PSG win with Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar? Like, they should have won. They should have won with that, with the M&M. They should have won with the M&Ms. And they didn't. They didn't, because Pochettino is a freaking bad manager. Galtier is not going to be at the level of someone like as good as Luis Enrique. So you do need a manager to get the best out of them. And I think that clears up the debate. And people are certainly going to be pointing out now that Luis Enrique has done it with worse players than Guardiola. And I think that may shift the conversation perhaps a little bit onto his side. You could also say that perhaps like this team and the way that they won this final is better than the ones that Guardiola won. Even though I think PSG were superb in this game, I think a lot has to go down to Inter not being as good. Like, Inter were god-awful. They were really, really, really bad. They were really bad. Manchester United were not that bad, and Barcelona were much better, like, on their day. I think that the game, the second final in 2011, I mean, Rooney's goal does hide things a little bit, but Barcelona dominated that game. It was not in Rome, in Wembley. Barcelona dominated Wembley. Like, they completely, Manchester United didn't do a single thing. Like, it was crazy. Roma, I think, was a little more close, but still, like, it's still crazy, Like, Barcelona dominated, I think, and I think that for me still would show as potentially the best team in the Champions League. You could say maybe that the teams from Real Madrid as well, the 3P team was also a very good one. But this team from PSG might be up there. I think people are going to be starting to make that debate. So I want to know in the comments down below, guys, what do you think? Do you think PSG can honestly be the best team in the competition in the history of the Champions League? I think be careful, because it might start to come up a lot more than you want to. And the same with Luis Enrique. I'm fine with Luis Enrique. You know what? I'm fine with it. I think this also cements that the Golden Boy is going to go for Désiré Doué. Like I said already, I think he's going to win the Golden Boy. And I think that Dembele, if PSG wins the Club World Cup, or the final semifinals, or Dembele finishes like top goal scorer, top assist, or something like that, I think he will 100% win it. Right now, I think it's like Lamine Yamal 50, Dembele 50. I genuinely think that, because still, I think the market of Lamine Yamal is massive. And I think that people are just crazy to give the Ballon d'Or to a kid. Like, I think they just want to vote for someone like him. It's going to be up to the voters at the end of the day, depends on the voters. I think the old voters, the voters of old, they're going to be voting for Lamine Yamal. And the voters of new, the ones who perhaps are a bit more hipstery, the ones who are younger, I think will vote for Dembele. So I think that's going to be 50. We're going to have to see how it goes. So yeah, guys, that's going to be my reaction to the Champions League final. It was a crazy final. Let me know whether you care or not about PSG winning. Do you like it? Do you like them having a Champions League? Do you like Dembele having a Champions League? Let me know all that in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Ciao, ciao.